85. What was I doing in 85? I would have been... Gosh, 85. That would have been grade school? My brother graduated from high school. My brother Brian graduated in 88.
Really? What year did you graduate high school?
92.
92. I was
92.
a year ahead of you.
92.
Just a year.
92.
So we went to the same high school. We were in a band together.
Oh, yeah. What did you play when you were in band?
Guitar.
Guitar?
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll crank up some of this stuff.
I was saxophone. But, yeah, saxophone. We would always take, not Goo Gone, but it's kind of like Goo Gone, and make like these rubber balls.
Yeah.
Throw them into the tuba. Oh, band director got angry.
Oh, I bet. That's great, though.
Yeah.
That's great, though.
Yeah, we were pretty good shots, too. So
Could you launch it from the tuba? Would they launch?
No, but
or were they just like...
see, we didn't understand the physics behind that. Once those little Goo Gone balls or whatever it was that we used got in there and mixed with the tuba player's saliva, it would start to liquefy again. So, yeah. So we... the folly of youth.
The folly of youth.
So... Yeah,
so any band kids listening to this,
don't
do it.
First, Father James' words of wisdom: don't take stuff that is used as adhesives and throw it into tubas. It's not a good thing. So that's Father's words of wisdom.
That's it. If you learn nothing, you three cameras.
Yeah. So, do you want to go see some baby?
Yeah. Just let me know. So usually, what we do is like basically, I drive aimlessly.
Okay.
And then you just help me find my way back.
Why doesn't it surprise me that you're oddly comfortable with that?
I'm so comfortable with that. It's kind of like, I was like, this is right up my alley. That's
exactly.
why we named it Unscripted. Not only is the dialogue unscripted, but the directions are unscripted. And I fit right in.
Take a left up here, unless it would be easier for me to tell you to take a right, so then you take a left.
No, it'll be fine. I can take a left here because my wife will tell me to take the left, but like 3 steps after I pass it.
Gotcha.
So I'm good with that part.
So we're coming up on the airport tower.
Oh.
So if you need some distance, I'll just start saying take a left, take a left, take a left, take a left.
Like our GPS.
So do you need like 3 of them from your wife typically?
Yeah, well, if it's like my wife, like do it like really quietly so I can barely hear you, and then scream the second one after me after I pass it. After I pass it.
Take a left.
Right.
Take a left. Take a left.
Take a left.
Do you feel like you're at home now?
Oh, this is it. This is it. This is a typical road trip. This is a typical road trip. For me. Hope she's
I'm here to watch your feet.
Right. Now, we haven't done that driving before.
No, we haven't. That would be a little bit awkward.
Kick my leg up.
The center console would have to come out.
So, well, this is nice back here.
Yeah, would be, back in, of course, now domiciles in terms of parish membership are kind of a thing of the past with cars and people go to parishes wherever. But this would technically be part of my parish's, St. Olaf Parish's boundaries. So this is the north side. And it's really cool. St. Olaf, sometimes with city parishes, you kind of not end up with a lot of people from the actual neighborhood where the parish is in.
Yeah.
St. Olaf they buck the trend. I mean, most of my parishioners are Northsiders.
Really?
In Eau Claire. So it really does have a little bit of that neighborhood feel, and they'll talk about the things like the pride of the North Side and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So, so
that's a beautiful dog there.
I missed that.
It's a blue Merle something.
You're much more attentive when it comes to dogs than I am.
I just love dogs. Anything else, like,
there you go.
Cars, coming at us.
Yeah, well, just don't hit. You watch the cars, I'll look for dogs.
I will do that. That's a good idea. I interviewed Father Martin a while back, and he actually went to confession that night before just in case. So, he was like, I'm good.
Father Martin's nuances of holiness were always more advanced than mine. I should have thought about that before
That's okay.
Let's go over to IC and see if Father Francis.
That's right. Let me swing by there really quick, and then we'll start. Oh man.
So this is, kind of literally the Riverside area. So the Chippewa River is flowing to our left. You can't see it now, but you will. There's some parks coming up.
Okay.
And ironically, this is an area in the spring and sometimes in the fall, depending on what happens weather-wise, floods.
I was going to ask, because I think a while back I came through here and there was some flooding.
And so, like the Riverside Park, Riverside Island, which is on the same road too, literally disappeared for a couple days. I mean, the tops of the shelter areas were all you could see. So it was, in the time that I've been in Eau Claire, not only at St. Olaf these past, I think we're going on 5 years now.
Oh, wow.
But also my 7 years at Regis, I've never seen flooding this bad. Yeah, it's all subsided now and things are back to normal, but it was, the water was coming right up to the road. So all
so all that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You can't see what we're looking at, but
that one could.
Oh yeah, there we go, the 360 cam.
Yeah.
So all this park stuff, the playground equipment, the water was right up to that fence. There's
boy.
So it was a flooded
it's still kind of flooded there.
Yep.
Well, as far as Eau Claire, you spent the majority of your priesthood in Eau Claire, isn't it?
And I'm almost nervous to say this because I don't want to have the bishop give ideas of moving me. But yeah, I've been ordained. I can't believe it. I thought I was ordained for 18 years. But then I thought, but wait a second, I was ordained in 2003. It's 2023. I'm coming up on 20 years of priesthood. And they don't have the babies though. I'll get you the babies.
So 20 years of priesthood.
Yeah, coming up in June, feast of Saint Irenaeus not Irenaeus I did my STL thesis on his understanding of baptism and Eucharist. Why am I? No, it is Irenaeus of Lyon.
Irenaeus, okay.
Wow. Get me in a car and I can't think. So
No.
But yeah, the Feast of Irenaeus, it'll be 20 years. Me, Father Sikowski, Father Shawanka, and then Father John Mary with the Institute.
Okay.
It was the four of us for our ordination class that year. And yeah.
Will you guys get together?
Bishop Burke / Cardinals Burke's last ordination.
Really?
Before he was sent off to St. Louis. Take a right here.
Take a right. Will you guys get together for like a little anniversary party or anything? Or are you doing something?
I hate to sound like we're bad brothers. We never have.
Yeah.
The closest we've come is that every once in a while, being that Father Sikowski has not been as active on Facebook as in the past, but we'll post our ordination pictures.
That's good.
And then you'll want to scoot over to the left lane. So probably at least need to close this because that's probably not helping.
We'll take the light.
Yeah, but we'll still have the light there for natural lighting.
I didn't even realize that was there.
Oh yeah,
until you looked up and saw it.
Dude, you gotta
I know.
Rule 3: Father's words of wisdom 3. If you get a rental car, figure out if it has a sunroof or not. That could be a very good thing.
You put some text up in the video, like Rule 1, Rule 2.
Yeah, I'll let you guys figure that out.
Yeah, I'll let Zach figure that because I'm lost on that one.
So Zach, get to work. Put some
one more thing to do.
Maybe some goofy sound effects too.
Oh, we could do that.
Left turn. Right?
Left here.
Left! Sorry.
This is right. This is it. We're in the pocket.
Sorry, I forgot I committed to screaming.
Right.
We'll go from there. But, 20 years of priesthood. And most of them, I spent 7 years in Eau Claire.
Mm-hmm.
And, that makes sense. 5 years at St. Olaf. Eau Claire Regis, I should say. I was one of the last teacher chaplains where I was a classroom teacher.
Oh.
In addition to being a high school chaplain and campus minister, too.
All of it.
Yeah.
A lot of hats.
Why not?
I
was young and dumb. So why not bury myself in ministry? So.
Right.
And so 13 of those 20 years have been in Eau Claire. And I love the city. it really has become a second home to me over the years. And know a lot of the people here, have a lot of connections.
Yeah. Where were you raised?
I was raised, ironically, in central Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
On a farm outside of Amherst.
Oh, yeah.
Is, the easiest way we always just try to explain it is if you know where Stevens Point is, and if you know where Waupaca is, where we live is kind of out in the middle of nowhere between the two of them.
Okay.
Beautiful farm, beautiful area. Typical kid growing up, I wanted to figure out all the different ways I could get off the farm, and now as I'm getting older, I want to go back as much as I can, and just a very peaceful place. My parents didn't farm. My grandfather was a dairy farmer, and now my brother Jay has it going as a black Angus beef farm again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad worked at the paper mill for, I can't remember how many years it was, but it was basically his whole life. He didn't go to college. He volunteered into the National Guard during Vietnam. And,
okay.
Then after he got out of was done with his military service, then just got a job at the paper mill, and I got to work summers at the paper mill when I got a little bit older, and got to watch some of the cheesiest safety videos on the face of the earth. And
what if you can find those on YouTube anywhere?
I was talking to somebody about those the other day, because no offense to anybody watching Catholic Mutual, but I just always, when I watch the Catholic Mutual, safety videos, and like the scene with parishioners with Father in the kitchen getting ready for the parish event, and we ran out of ketchup. Well, why don't you go and grab some? And this could be you.
This could be you.
It just reminded me of the mill safety videos.
Oh, yeah.
You just got hired at the paper mill. Life is great, but be careful at the mill of dip points, because life can change in an instant. There's like a guy with like a Play-Doh hand squished out underneath a 4-ton roll or something like that.
The special effects.
And the millwrights were looking at us when we were kids, like, are they scared? Are they scared into safety?
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, oh, gosh, this is the funniest horror movie you've ever had to watch. Guys actually squirting blood, fake blood off of the fake hand.
They went
finger
all
cut
out?
Off. Yeah. It was,
wow.
And I consolidated paper. Okay, words of wisdom, Father James. I think we're up to 4. Google, right turn right here. Now, words of wisdom. Google consolidated paper safety videos and see if you can find them, because they're classic. They're even though consolidated doesn't exist anymore, they could probably make some royalty monies off of them. Or if you're into like really bad cheesy horror movies.
And we'll up the ante. If you can send us a link, we will send you a $10 Quick Trip gift card.
Really?
Why not?
Dude, I'll look up for that tonight.
Yeah, I know.
I can always use a gift card.
That's right. You're right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, but I grew up in central Wisconsin, and I went to college at UW-Stevens Point. I was a music major, and often, to be quite frank, don't get me wrong, I loved music.
Yeah.
Saxophone and voice.
And was that your majors, like performance, or was it theory and teaching and pedagogy?
Yeah, it's interesting on how that all came about. My original thought was music ed, to go to be like a band director or something. But after I got into it, I just knew that I would not be satisfied with life. I could have done it, but I could just tell something was missing. And so there I went into more of a Bachelor of Arts track to finish the degree.
Yeah.
More or less because my parents were just very emphatic with me, and my brothers, because they didn't get a chance to go to college, so we just want you guys to get a degree. We don't care what it's in. Go to school and get it. So to me, I'll be honest, that my parents kind of forcing us to go to college is probably a big reason why I'm a priest, because you have to have a college degree to become a priest. And when I went to college, the only thing that looked even appealing to me was to study music in college. Okay. Otherwise, I would have been happy as a clam just following my dad to the paper mill.
Yeah.
That would have been, But my dad in particular, he was very emphatic that he wanted us to have more options than he did in life. So he wanted us to go to college, and lo and behold, you know, and granted, I've thought about being a priest my entire life, so it's not. Oh, I'm sorry. Right turn. Right turn. Sorry.
Because I remember you. I think it was you that said that you used to like pretend you were a priest as a kid.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Did
No,
that right?
I would play mass
Yeah.
as a kid, and I was a teddy bear kid, and so. I mean, I'd play mass anywhere. It wasn't just in my bedroom, but like with my bed, I would set up all my stuffed animals, and that would be my congregation.
Oh, wow.
And keep on going straight. My mom bought this really neat. It's still over the house. I should see if I can find it. This really neat little silver cup, and at a antique store that was she paid like $5 for it. That I would use as my chalice, and our family was very active with helping out at my parish, which originally was St. Patrick's of Lanark, but that since is closed. It was put together with what's now St. Maximilian Kolbe. And back in the day where you would incinerate your missalettes after each month after they were done, Father Swing put us in charge of taking all of the missalettes from week to week to the incinerator and burn them.
Oh.
And, because his whole thought was, Scripture's in there, we don't want to throw them in the garbage, so we have to burn or bury them.
Yeah.
And so, and for me, I always, as a kid, both because I like to play mass, but I also kind of felt guilty for burning them. I would always take one with me, and that was my lectionary. And, it was. Well, we found out later on that little silver cup my mom bought was actually a menorah cup. It's actually
really
a cup that was part of Jewish tradition.
Oh,
which,
wow!
When I got into seminary, I was like, wow, I was playing with something that might have been loosely connected with. It's the Eau Claire police. I know them all. Don't worry about it.
Oh, good.
Take a point 5 or 6. I don't know what point.
Right.
When you become a priest, you will get to know the police.
Get to know the police.
It's okay. Just be nice.
Because I had a police officer, a former police officer, tell me. I was telling her about all this. She's like, "Yeah, as a police officer, I'm not sure that that's a good thing."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, it's not in the way."
All right, now the baby geese should be out. They're little yellow fluff balls. Oh yeah, they're right in the middle. So just kind of slowly, go around this.
Go this way,
and just kind of hug a little bit close, but just go slow. I think they might be out there eating, maybe not.
The little yellow fluff balls, you said?
Yeah, they were out this morning. I came out here. Yeah, they're there. Okay. Just slowly drive it on the other side of that picnic table on the ground there.
Oh, I see them.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just drive around the loop slow. The parent goose. Oh yeah, there's actually one right there too. Right around that. Just swing around here. You're all getting really confused. Don't worry. This is very normal for me. Just kind of take that loop and just park right by the that bench there.
Kind of pull in a little bit.
The parents might squawk at you a little bit, but I'll just give them my Leonisum take in line of.
Now, right in front of us, I think.
Yeah.
I can see them
pull up just to kind of veer that way and a little bit closer. Yeah, see the parents are like, "What are you guys doing?"
Like, oh, we're not having this.
Chill, we're just a priest and a diocesan employee that's looking for baby geese.
Right.
Yeah. So there they are. Yeah, I come here a lot of mornings to pray.
That's great. I'm gonna take this.
Yeah. And
flip it around.
So that little. We've got brain damage head bob that the parents are doing. That's their. We're not happy. We're not comfortable with this. Why are you guys here? So we'll just kind of chill for a bit, and they'll calm down.
There they are.
And they'll go back to. They're just being good parents.
They're
just making sure that
they're not the nicest, from what I remember. But
it's amazing that things that small, that cute, and that fluffy can end up being some of the loudest, most obnoxious, aggressive animals in the bird community.
Yeah.
But yeah, the babies are just adorable. They'll even try to like scream at you sometime, but they can't make noise yet, so they'll just.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 more over there. So how many have you counted? There's actually 5.
You know, I just found them this
6.
morning, so I'm not 100% sure how many are out yet.
Yeah.
But, no, but this morning when I came, because the bench on the 360 cam, you can probably focus on it. There's a gray van over there, and there's a bench. That's kind of my prayer bench.
That is over there.
And so they were just out on the side of that bench this morning when I came out here. And I'll just come out here and pray. I'll usually say a rosary
and every morning this is your spot? I mean, with weather?
With weather permitting.
Yeah.
And especially now with the sun rising earlier. In the winter, obviously, I don't. Pray the office out here, and then I always take my camera with because in whatever city you live, Father James tips 6, 7, 8, whatever we're on. If you live in the city, one of the greatest treasures, you would be surprised how much really cool wildlife and at times rare wildlife shows up in city parks. This is Bronze Bay in Eau Claire. Just a little park. A lot of people fish it. But like all of these cattails, there's red-winged blackbirds nesting and common grackles nesting all over the place. And to me, we actually have a fun little thing on staff that if I'm having a really busy, hard day, and they can tell that I'm getting stressed, they'll say, "Father, you need your duck time." And so
that's great.
And that's kind of my clue. The staff's given me permission. Father,
we got this.
Get out for an hour or two, go to the Bronze Bay.
Yeah.
Take your camera, pray a little bit, say hi to your ducks and your geese and all that, and then come back refreshed. And really, it's such a healthy dynamic it's not just for me, it's for them too.
Yeah.
They just, because to me, and I know that every priest kind of has a different philosophy on how they handle their staff.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, if I'm going to preach faith, family, and everything else, I got to administrate that way too. At least that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Right. And does complicate things a little bit sometimes and it hasn't always worked out perfectly, but I've kind of found my administrative style, and
that's good.
We're getting there with that. And so we're trying to get each other to heaven along with working as a parish staff.
Yeah.
And let's see, why don't we take
what's that up there?
Oh, the ski jump.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's actually that's like Olympic caliber ski
Is it
jump.
really?
And I think they had Olympic trials in Eau Claire. Don't quote me on that, but they have in the winter professional Olympic style ski jump competitions.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure if I can remember how to get up there, but we can try.
Go. See where we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a ski jumper.
I mean, I've done it, but that's because I've gotten out of control and just end up flying off a hill.
Crasher.
So I mean, I did catch air.
A body propeller.
Once I hit a fence and I flipped over I went out of the skis, over the fence, landed on my back.
Go straight.
And I was embarrassed, but then I was like, okay, I don't think anybody saw that. And then I heard clapping. It turns out there was a ski lift right there, and everybody saw it. So, whoops.
When I was at Regis as chaplain years ago, there was one time there were 2 families, the Garrity's and forgetting the name of the other family. They took me out skiing too, and I've never been downhill skiing before. Our family would cross-country ski when I was a kid, but never downhill skiing. And so, okay, I'm game, and Consons, that's right, the Garrity's and the Consons. And let's just see here. Take a left.
Take a left? I was thinking that too.
And, yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah.
So
you're flying down that. Wow.
Yeah. Looks like we might have to turn
around.
Yeah, but
I thought we made it up.
So Yeah, whip in here, go back, and then we'll at least drive by it so the 360 can see the whole.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So
right here?
Yep. Right here.
Right here.
No, I do feel like it. I can understand why you're.
See how bad I am?
Like...
There's a reason she does that. Like I've earned it.
Yeah.
She's like, this is the only thing that will work with him.
Well, hey, I'm coming to learn that your wife knows you very well. Not that I questioned that. I mean,
no, but it's just affirming.
Yeah. But ski.
So you went skiing, downhill skiing for the first time. Yeah.
And for me, it took me a few times, but I quickly mastered the bunny hill. I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
we're doing good. And then if you just take a left here and drive slow, I think you'll be able to see the actual full extent of the thing that if you tried would probably lead to your not so natural death.
Yeah, that would not.
I don't think I'd make it.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, see that's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it starts up there, and that would launch you.
Oh, that would hurt.
Yeah.
See, I've that brick wall. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I mean, of course, you don't want to go out into the street, but
I do think it would be safe to say that the brick wall. Hey, take a left. We can actually pull in here. Whoops. Okay. Just don't hit that guy.
I'll wait for that guy. Gal.
Yeah, my gut tells me that in a battle between you on skis and a brick wall, you might not fit.
I'd win that one.
Yeah, so that's an Olympic caliber.
Look at that.
Ski jump.
Wow, and so you got the smaller run there.
Yeah. And then obviously you have a blue bucket of what's left of former skiers who tried to challenge the brick wall.
Right.
And,
that would be my skis.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and that ironically goes back to my story. So I was downhill skiing for the first time, mastered the bunny hill. So then they took me on the green triangle or whatever they call it. So I went down, and when people ask me how my first actual run down a downhill ski hill went, I say, well, I'll just say it this way. We probably could have remade the Stations of the Cross based on my run, but having Jesus fall like 20 times would get a little redundant after a while.
Yeah.
But the next time, I only fell down 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Next time,
that's a huge, yeah.
2 times.
Wow.
The time after that, I fell down once, and we were just coming to the end of the day, and I should have known that this was setting me up for horrible things. But, the kids, were all, come on, Father, one more time, you got to make it down the greens. Triangle, or whatever, or square, or whatever. The easiest hill but after the bunny hill.
Yeah.
Just once without falling. Like, well, that's like one more trip. So we all went up together, and we all went down, and it was at Christie Mountain, for those of you who know ski places in Wisconsin. So it was Christie Mountain, so we went up the lift, and Christie Mountain has like a little dive down, then there's a flat area, then a big swoosh down to the bottom of the hill. So first thing, and as I'm at the flat area before I hit the swoosh, I had a horrible idea.
Oh no.
And the horrible idea was, every time I would fall, because I would do the whole snowplow thing and side to side, I would overcompensate sometimes on the side to side. Like, you know what, why don't I just snowplow it and just bomb it straight down the hill? Bad idea, jeans.
Yeah.
And so I did. I kind of turned, and I remember when I turned the corner, came down off of the flat area. It felt like I was rummage sale.
Yeah. Any guitars in here?
Weights. No.
You never know.
I don't know. We'll go up there and we'll turn around, but I was going a little too fast, and I could, the kids were like, "Go, Father, go, Father, go, go, go!" What the U-turn was. You never know what you can find at a rummage sale. Go, Father, go, 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 go. So I'm going, and all of a sudden I notice that their voices are getting quieter and further back, and I'm picking up some serious speed.
No.
And I'm like, oh boy, what do I do? And I did the one thing you're never supposed to do. I was watching the tips of my skis, and I just decided to peek up for a second just to see how long I had till I got to the bottom of the hill so I didn't crash into the side of the lodge.
Yep.
And the next thing I remember, as I open up my eyes, I'm lying on the ground. It's a beautifully clear night with stars in the sky, and everybody is hovered over around me with tears in their eyes. I think one of the parents had a look on their face like, yeah, I don't see anything of interest. A lot of kids' clothes.
Yeah.
I got better weights at home.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Rummage sales are always worth a peek anyway.
Definitely.
But,
you never know what's there.
And the parent had this look on their face like, we just killed the Regis Chaplain. And one ski was over there, another ski was over there. One glove, somebody found it. I don't know where they found it. One glove was off, the other was off. And you know, I tried to like slow play. Oh, your father took a pretty good tumble there, didn't he? And when I tried to get up, it felt like a rocket took off from my tailbone through the back of my head.
No.
And I'm just gonna sit down here for a little bit longer. And you know, so everybody was like super scared, like, oh gosh, what happened to father? Did he break his tailbone or something like that? And then one of the kids, who will remain nameless because she'll probably see this, I don't want to, Erin Garrity, I don't want her to feel bad about this, but she was a very good skier, came by and she stopped and looked, just like, hey father, looks like you had a yard sale. And
did she whitewash you when she stopped?
No.
That's nice of her.
That's
see, it could have been worse.
Thank you, Erin, for not whitewashing.
Yeah, see, look how kind Erin is.
So they got me. They finally got me down the end of the hill. Well, the next morning we went on a I think it was a Tuesday night, so I still had to teach the next day. And I remember waking up. I was living at St. Pat's Rectory at that time with Father Dine. He was the pastor of Sacred Heart St. Pat's. And I remember waking up and literally in prayer saying, God, I can't get out of bed. And because of course you don't go to the hospital.
No,
there's nothing.
No, there's nothing wrong. It's
I'm
nothing
sure
that
my tailbone was fine. I mean, I'm
a
sure
little Advil wouldn't cure.
Just feeling like I had a rocket explode through my spine after a fall is nothing could be wrong.
Right. It was just a long day.
Exactly. And I just said, God, I can't get out of bed, but I got to get to Regis and teach. So I kid you not. I said, I haven't, God, prayed for this since I was in high school. I need a snow day. And I need a snow day bad. And I turned on the TV, and it wasn't one of those flat screens. It was the old tube ones.
Oh yeah.
Slowly warm up.
Yeah.
And it slowly warmed up. And she doesn't work at Channel 13 anymore. Megan Kulig was doing the news report, and as the TV came up, I heard Megan Kulig. Little did I know I was going to work with her, because now she works as as a communications person for Regis Catholic Schools. I heard Megan Kulig say, all Eau Claire schools closed today. And I said, thank you, Lord.
You did that.
So,
Prayer.
Father James' word of the wisdom,
Right. Number
8, 9, 10, whichever it is. It's okay to pray for a snow day if you think you broke your tailbone. So I never did go to the doctor, by the way.
You didn't just kind of let it work itself out?
I mean, what are they going to say?
Because they can't do anything.
No, they can't.
They give you a donut.
And if they could, would I really want to have? No, I wouldn't have surgery.
No.
So it healed. I'm not sure how it healed.
See, that one died that fast.
See, you filled your card, man.
Yeah. It's that battery that keeps going. We can stop. I can put the battery in it.
Well, it's okay. We still got a couple more cameras.
Yeah, we can always rely on these for now.
I'll just go here for the Father James
Right,
points.
right. But yeah, they just give you a $500 floaty, pool floaty.
Exactly.
You just sit on.
Yeah, and so that was my first and last experience with downhill skiing.
That was the end.
As a joke, the next year I went up to the same kids when I'm like, I want to try downhill skiing again. And literally, the kids, not the parents, the kids were like, Father, no, we're not taking you skiing again. We're not. And that it must have been a bad fall. I asked one of the parents, I know the kids can be a little bit over dramatic, and I was kind of out of it for a little bit on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, really, how bad was it? And the parent just kind of, Joe Conson, just kind of smirked and said, Father, on a scale 1 to 10, that was a solid 9.5. And I was like, okay. So
you lost your skis, you lost a glove.
Yeah.
So there was the yard sale.
Thankfully, I didn't lose my life. That's
true. That's true.
And like I said, when I came to, it was a beautifully clear night. The stars were just gorgeous. And just kind of laid there and did a little stargazing.
Yeah, let's just stay here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, but
the kids, they'll remember that forever.
Yeah,
that experience.
They will. Yeah, no, they will, that's for sure. And that's one of the things that I so enjoyed about doing both high school and college ministry is that it, you have those unique moments. I mean, and I'm not just talking about crashing on the ski hill, but all of the guys that I know that have been priest chaplains have just really neat moments. I think it was Father Hirsch who said that his years of high school chaplaincy were really what he would call his years of spiritual fatherhood. And I totally agree with him on that because, with high school and college, you see them develop so rapidly.
Yeah.
Especially, I was blessed with 7 years in high school ministry, so I literally got to see, kids grow up from, just, being insecure middle school kids to somewhat secure seniors in high school. And it's just really neat to watch that progression.
And you get to see the light bulb come on.
Yep.
Finally. It's like all the stuff that they've been learning and taught and everything, all of a sudden, sometimes it just clicks in a moment. It's like,
and college ministry was fun because there was always that moment. It usually hit them like sophomore or junior year when, in high school, the one challenging thing being that certain life decisions are getting delayed further in life with like careers and marriage and that kind of stuff. In high school, kids will think about things like what they're going to do with the rest of their lives and that, but it isn't really until that sophomore or junior of college it becomes real and they have to come up with something, and boy, that's when just very fruitful ministry can happen when they start to realize, wait a second here, I do need a career. I do need to figure out if I'm going to be married or not. I do need to figure out if God's called me to be a priest or not. And it, in a weird way, that little bit of normal life crucible that everybody goes through.
Yep.
That you have to take that step is a neat time. And I love, St. Olaf is would be, I hate using this term, but it's, for lack of a better term, it's the only one I can think of a typical parish. It's not a specialty ministry. That's beautiful too, and of course you got youth and that kind of stuff, but you primarily now are working with adults they're defined. They are who they are, and that change is different and slower in the older years. And it's the two ministerial realities are very fruitful but very different to work in.
Was that a hard adjustment for you?
It was. I didn't realize how high school and college kids have a completely different set of ministerial needs than adults do. Part of that's just common sense, they're growing up. But adults get annoyed with things that kids don't get annoyed with, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so, ironically, one of the biggest transition points for me into going into a typical parish was not understanding why some of my adult parishioners would get worked up about certain things. And I'm just like, what's the big deal?
Right.
And mainly because for Regis at 7, college ministry for 13 years of one mentality of what priorities are.
Yeah.
It took a little while for me to calibrate my priesthood towards a different sense of what people see as priorities.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that one is better than the other. It's both are specific to the stages of life that people are at, but it is something that needs to.
I don't think that's hit me till now, and it probably should have a long time ago. That when like as the lay person working with a priest, to think about where this priest has been through his priesthood. So if I was a person that works
Take
with
a left right here.
in like an adult formation capacity, and like a priest like you was in high school, working with high school students for 7 years, to think about that it doesn't just click in automatically just because you get moved to a new assignment or whatever. Like I wonder if in lay people's heads that we just automatically assume you just somehow magically change gears into like, oh yeah, he gets this, and so he's on this path now, and it's like
nope.
The human side of like just having a and it's never hit me, and like I said, it should have, but for some reason it hasn't until now. That it's like they have to change gears. I mean, even parish to parish, I would imagine.
And in some ways, like in mine, being 13 years in specialty ministries with youth and young adults. You're not even aware at first what those gears are that need to change, but you get there.
It's like you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden you find out what you don't know, and it's like, I got to figure this out now.
And it definitely, because I had a lot of success with high school ministry and college ministry, but boy, it as you can imagine, high school ministry mentality is so different from adult ministry mentality.
Right.
And the way that you approach it, the way that you think it through, the way you pray it through, worlds of difference. And I love both.
Yeah.
I mean, I love St. Olaf Parish. I think that in time, the more I am, kind of back in the normal parish world, it'll become more natural. There is part of me that, just because of 13 years of it, I feel a little bit more comfortable in youth, young adult ministry type of settings.
Yeah.
Father Levi Schmidt and I we took a trip down to Dowling High School in Des Moines, Iowa, because they have a really neat discipleship program there that we wanted to see about maybe bringing to the diocese, and just had a great experience with it. And boy, that was on a trip that was 5 hours there and 5 hours back, that you would think that for a priest that's staring 50 years old in the face, would have wiped him out. It actually rejuvenated me.
That's great.
Just to, have a day of being back in that, ministerial role, and, just kind of having those, high school ministry questions back in my face again.
Yeah.
And that was, every priest that I've talked to that has been a high school chaplain have said that it's, and especially the teacher chaplains, the guys that really did it for a long time, and not just what we have now of the 2-year cycles of guys, always talk about it as some of the more memorable and fruitful times of their ministry. So
that's and I can relate. Probably a little bit just when our office merged, and we went from youth ministry to family life, and then we're but ministering to all kinds of different adults, every generation basically. And so it was very quickly that I was like, I can't treat this part of the ministry like I do youth ministry. I have to learn another way to do this over here, and it wasn't. I love it though. I love where it's gone. I love to be having both together and to think about different things and work with different people, and it's awesome. But yeah, it was like you just don't just get it.
And that's the thing too with ministry, is that there's always that danger to reduce ministry to, well, I read Sherry Weidell's Intentional Discipleship. Sure, go take it right. I read Sherry Weidell's Intentional Discipleship, and so I know intentional discipleship. Well, you might go straight. You might know the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
But until you actually not only do it, but have somebody walk with you through what discipleship looks like,
you
don't get it. Because when you get into what's called in some circles relational ministry or incarnational ministry, that's a whole different ball game than catechesis and religious instruction and more of an academic approach. When you're trying to be authentic and real with people in a holy manner, when you're in that, it's a different headspace you got to be in. And in an odd way, I've oftentimes thought of things like Sherry Weidell's intentional discipleship and incarnational ministry, having worked with discipleship groups in university ministry now, and now experienced a high school one down in Dowling. It reminds me too about our understanding of the humanity and the divinity of Christ. That we can always run to one extreme or the other, that we can just focus on Jesus's divinity, more of the stern Jesus, the all-knowing Jesus, the infant Jesus who almost feels like he should look like an adult because he's this all-knowing, or too much on the humanity of turning Jesus into a human being. No, he's a divine person. He's not a human person. He's a divine person with a human and divine nature. And in many ways, incarnational ministry reflects that. There's a walking into the humanness of ministry, the messiness of ministry, walking into the world of people's difficulties, but without forgetting the divinity, and and not just turning ministry into hanging out with your buddies, or putting such a heavy burden on somebody that they can't become as holy as this person wants them to be, so they just give up because it's just impossible for them to become perfect. As it is for all of us. It's living in that tension of, we're broken vessels, but we're broken vessels that are supposed to be mended in Christ's love. With the awareness that fallenness of human nature is always going to be a challenge, and to embrace both is challenging. And it's both the joy and the challenge of incarnational ministry.
I actually I gave a talk to some college students, and we did a little Q&A after, and one of them talked about an issue he had been going through and battling, some sin he was battling and really couldn't kick. So he'd pray about it, go to confession, and then he'd fall back into it, pray about it, go to confession, fall back into it, pray in this cycle. And he said, finally, after doing it over and over again, finally I was able to kick it, and I'm good now. And he said, but I just felt so guilty about relapsing or whatever. And I said, but to me, the beauty of your story is that the fight you put up, because most people these days would have an issue, they go to confession, and then they fall back into it like, well, that didn't work. So what else am I going to do now? And I was like, you kept going back over and over and over and over again, and you fought. I said, and it's that fight that's the beauty of it.
It's the fight, and also that realization of we always have to live our life for the truth and tempered by charity. And if there's some things that I see, there's such a good holy desire of young Catholics today. Boy, when they get on fire, they want to pursue the truth hard. And they want to be uncompromising. But they always, the thing that worries me is though that if you don't maintain that sense of a healthy awareness of your weakness, if you don't have that charity to, be gentle with yourself when backfalls happen, or with your friends, boy, faith becomes bitter. It becomes a never-ending argument. It becomes a looking for what's wrong in the world versus what's right in the world. It's right turn.
Do you think that's what's happened with a lot of adults these days, that they've spent so long maybe being hard on themselves that now they're... Well, we have a hard time getting, at least it seems to me, from what I read and what I hear, we have a hard time getting adults to go beyond the mass.
and then get into the left lane, and then at the next stoplight you want to take a left. I think that's part of it. What I see in adult ministry, when you're set for life, and I'm not even talking about faith yet, but just emotionally and stuff, when you hit that age where you're not going to change that much anymore. The good religious grounding you received can see you through a lot of difficulties. Sadly, though, the things where maybe it wasn't necessarily shaky, might have been misunderstood, that it...
Go right there?
Yeah, go and take a right here. There can be almost a visceral response if a priest says to them, I actually didn't understand that properly. Because that's part of who their identity is now. And that's part of the way they see the world. Well, who's this young priest to tell me that I'm wrong? And the worst thing to do as a priest in that situation is like, well, you are wrong, so deal with it. But, you know, Father James, point 12, 13, wherever we're at, if you're a priest, be charitable to your people if they're wrong, because you're probably wrong too. But you know, there's that. You know, with kids, and youth and young adults, they're more accepting to be corrected. Ironically, you know, because they just kind of presume that they don't know everything. They're in school; they're constantly being told through tests what they know and don't know. But when we get to that point of life as adults, it's like we got set. And to have that humility and openness, even for us as priests, that, well, maybe we don't. That's where, to me, I think a lot of that bitterness comes from. And take a left turn right here. It got amplified through COVID, to be quite frank.
Oh, sure.
Because, got put on steroids during COVID because the commingling of a medical crisis, political crisis, social upheaval in a country that was already polemical, that just became a crockpot for craziness.
It was,
and on both ends of the spectrum. And I think we're still I think we're still recovering from that. And we want truth, which is good, but again, truth with the charity that we're all fallen human beings. None of us know it all. And that maybe, just maybe, all of us, like with COVID, all of us had a piece of it right, and all of us had a piece of it that was wrong. And until that we embrace each other with that charity, instead of well, you're either a masker or an anti-masker. You know, you're either a COVID believer or a COVID denier. You know, it's either going to wipe out half the population or it's the flu. You know, living in those polemics because we want clarity is understandable, but it's not healthy. And it's not pursuing truth with charity. You know, it's not pursuing truth with the understanding nobody was trying to hurt anybody through that. They were just trying to make the best decisions with what was in front of them.
But our culture's married disagreement with enemy.
Exactly.
And so somehow we got to that point, and then that just compounded the issue.
And then sadly, you know, I also saw too, I was in a unique situation with COVID because I was on sabbatical, and the shutdown happened the week after I was started my sabbatical. And for the first 3 weeks, it was absolutely miserable because, like, with the PPP stuff, I had to try to figure out how to sign documents in Wisconsin while I was in Arizona, and because of the shutdown, there's no way I could get back to Wisconsin to sign the documents. It was but then after all that stuff settled down, I was planning on being out in the desert, studying desert spirituality and practicing desert spirituality, and basically living a hermit's life anyway, so being isolated wasn't outside of what my expectation was. But when I got back after 3 months, the just universal anger I felt from everybody, not to me personally, but just angry about everything. Not even just about COVID. Everybody was on edge. Everybody was looking for a reason to explode. that was scary. And ironically, that's why I got into wildlife photography, because I knew once I got back from sabbatical, if I didn't get out of the house, if I didn't get out of the rectory, I was going to go nuts. And I couldn't handle just sitting alone, just feeding off of all this anger.
Right.
And so I would go out into the woods with my camera, and I didn't have to worry about masks. I didn't have to worry about social distancing. I didn't have to worry about politics. I didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Except for just resting, praying, and being present to whatever little thing jumped in front of me, from a chipmunk to a chickadee to a badger, whatever. And it really helped me keep my equilibrium through the whole COVID
That's
thing.
really good that you found that.
Yeah. And so I think that, for wrapping it back to ministry, to kind of get back to your question of, with adults, just based on what their dispositions were, personally, politically, socially, their understanding of medicine and that kind of stuff. To be quite frank, there's a certain predictability that they should have been able to see that was going to happen.
Yeah.
When COVID hit.
Yeah.
That to take the path that they did was going to divide naturally. Just, having nothing to do with either side of the aisle, but just people are set.
Yeah.
And they're going to respond the way they do when they're set in their mentalities.
Yeah.
And being told that you're wrong, especially in a society where you're wrong also carries an unfortunate moral baggage of you're bad.
Yeah.
And that's not always true. You can be wrong without being bad.
Yeah.
Really.
But how incredible is that you were scheduled to go to Arizona and go into study desert spirituality and everything, and then right when you were scheduled to go, right when you went, the entire world went into desert spirituality.
Yep, sure did.
And then you're there, like, in the heart of, like, you're digging in and studying it. Like,
and for me, that was such a fruitful experience, because when I went to the Redemptorist Renewal Center just north of Tucson to study desert spirituality, I was so looking forward to being unplugged with the world, and just really living a life of quiet contemplation and negation for 3 months, and really focusing on detachment. Now, sadly, a lot of that got blown up with COVID, because it's as much as I would have loved to just say to my staff, I'll take care of all that. There were certain legal documents as a pastor I had to be the one to sign, so they could still get their paychecks and that kind of stuff. So it kind of I wasn't able to completely pull out. But when I did finally get my sabbatical somewhat back up and running again, I started to realize that the beauty about the desert isn't so much the desolation, the detachment, which, that was part of it.
yeah.
But it also trains you to look for life amid the desert. It also teaches you to find, amid a sea of sand and stone, the one green shoot.
Yeah.
And being thankful for that. Take a right. And when you see that shoot, to treasure it as a gift from God. And, and for me, I think that the desert of COVID, everybody was focusing on death. But how can we refocus on life?
Yeah.
How can we now start to see moments of supernatural grace of God bringing new life through this desolate desert we've been through, to help us grow again and to unify us again, to forgive each other.
Yeah.
To let go of resentments that... Right lane?
Right lane.
So I can imagine, I bet I know the answer to this. Do I turn here?
Yeah, if you can slow down safely.
But I would imagine that you came back from Arizona with an entirely new lens.
In a weird way, I felt, at least at the beginning of COVID, I was able to stand on the outside looking in. I wasn't in the emotional space that everybody else was in their anger. I think that kind of died after a while. Left turn. after a little while being there, but it has, for me, part of it was health stuff, and since then I've dropped about 80 pounds and I'm just kind of slowly working on getting my health together. Desert spirituality, physically, but also spiritually, that, it's nice to, one thing that when you get desert spirituality right, you can walk into a situation, the second right turn, not the first one.
Got it.
You can walk into a situation when you're really there that looks like nothing but death. But you just start to be able to tune into, okay, where's the green shoot?
Yeah.
Where's the growth? So I don't know if that really answers your question.
It does.
It would probably take another hour or so of car riding.
We'll have to do a part 2.
Why not?
Why not?
We'll drive to a desert.
Right.
We'll go to North Africa.
Right.
Rent
If we get 2,000 views, we'll do a part 2. No,
There we go.
We'll do a part 2
Rent a car on the diocesan insurance, and we'll just drive through the desert.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. So my guys are out mowing my lawn.
There it is.
And I probably should get back to work. That's Chuck Gaethel, my faithful maintenance man.
That's great. Can I park you in my
Absolutely.
This
Absolutely.
way. Oh, this way.
Yeah.
Be this way. That'll do his job.
Sure.
Thank you so much. So
Thank
good
you.
to drive with you.
Thank you.
I think those 2 died,
That's okay.
but we have that one still.
Last Father's tip. For those of you who know me well, I got new glasses. Father's Words of Wisdom, point 14, 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't wait 5 years to go to get your eyes checked. I was blind, now I can see.
Now you
Get
can
your
see.
eyes checked.
I did that one time. I waited a long time, got my eyes checked, got new glasses. I was like, oh, so the grass has blades and the trees have actual leaves. It's not just blobs of green.
Yeah.
It's amazing the detail.
And it's amazing how it's so much easier to pray the Mass when you can actually read the Roman Missal. Yeah.
Thank
my
you so
friend.
much.
Thank you. My prayers for you.
Thank you all.
Awesome.